So we're going to be coaching Emerald, AD carry player who plays Nyla and Kaisa here. We're going to go ahead and get into the VOD. Now, the first thing I like to do whenever I'm coaching somebody is I always talk about what is your idea going into the game. And the reason why I ask that question is so that I can understand what information you're thinking about before the game even starts. And I can start to think about, like, put myself in your shoes on what you could possibly be thinking of. So if you could let me know, what are you
Mhm.
thinking of in the moment that you're like loading into this game?
Okay, so my thought process is okay. Like I usually pick Nala. There's no like strategic champ selection here. I just usually pick Nala anyway. So, but either way, like in this screen, I'm thinking my champ is pretty good into like Master Yi. Probably even Jinx if I got close. But if he's outranging me, then probably she's just a better champion. Warwick as well, I think I should do like pretty fine and just W most of his damage and then just kite him out with E. But I'm feeling like okay, this should be a not so hard game. But I don't think at any point in the laning phase that I would kill Jinx and Milia unless at least it's her stun or whatever. So I'm just gonna sit back, farm, wait for Zin. I'm gonna be under my tower anyway, because obviously Jinx is gonna hard shell. Not obviously, but assuming that she's gonna hard shell Perma and just put me
Hmm.
under my tower and just poke me, I'm just gonna sit back anyway. So it would be easier for Zin to
So,
gank.
so this is a pretty
Mhm,
familiar game plan a lot of people have that I talk to.
mhm.
They acknowledge that it's going to be hard for them to do something, so they don't go for it. However, I want to introduce you to the idea of agency, right? And
Okay.
agency
Mhm,
is the ability to impact the game
mhm.
positively or negatively, right? So
Okay.
this game, your jungle has a lot of control because jungle is jungle. He gets to gank like three lanes. But as AD
Mhm,
carry, a problem a lot of people have when they're learning the role is how do I impact the game? Because sometimes it feels like my teammates are holding me back or I'm not allowed to from the role I'm playing, right?
mhm,
But there's always a way to impact the game, even if it's like a non interactive lane like you think this is. So I want to
mhm,
introduce you to that idea. We're going to go ahead and watch the laning phase and figure out what you could have done. But when you're looking
mhm,
at as well, talking about these compositional, like how you do into these champs, right? How do you do versus these
mhm,
champs? Think about
mhm,
how they work together and how your team works together as a whole, right?
mhm. Okay. Mm,
As opposed to thinking about like your interactions with this champ.
Makes sense. Okay. So like the overall gameplay of their
Yeah,
what
so
they would do in
for
team
example,
fights.
right? Like
Mhm,
you want to be fighting with these people, right? Maybe Irelia wants to be split pushing. So you're going to be
mhm,
like playing most of the game 4-1. However, when Irelia
mhm.
goes in, if Irelia lands a really good ulti, it sets up your
Mhm.
ulti really, really nicely as well, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when Irelia does group, maybe it's worth just fighting when she groups and not fighting until she groups, right? You have to think about this stuff, and this is the stuff that matters a whole lot. Also,
Okay, okay.
try to think about priority. So we talked about agency, right? Agency is how you can influence the game. Now, if somebody
Mhm,
gets to push a wave into you and you're sitting under
mhm,
tower, they get to control the
mhm.
game more than you do. They control when you
Yeah.
reset, they control when you
Mhm,
roam, they control everything, right?
yeah.
So whoever gets the priority hypothetically is going to control where the resources go in that lane. If they're going to keep you
Mhm,
in lane or if they're going to go help jungle, whatever it might be. So look
mhm,
at these things, right? So is it really, really bad if Jinx and Milio get priority? Not really. And can you prevent it? Maybe, but it's probably not worth trying to do, right? There are certain
mhm,
games where you don't want to give them priority because it'll be too valuable. Let's say if your jungle is like
mhm,
pathing towards you, he can get invaded
mhm.
if you don't try to fight for the prio. So at those points, it's worth
That's
trading.
true. Okay. Mhm,
Right?
mhm,
So just think about it like this. And then we're sitting here, level one, you guys can outtrade them, right? But you never want to be
mhm.
caught, like getting caught by Jinx autos, like
Yeah,
repeated Jinx autos. So you just want to be looking for a short trade, right?
yeah.
And then coming back to this laning phase, one thing that you should really get in the habit of doing. So you see how you're auto
Mhm,
attacking inside the bush right now?
mhm.
When you auto attack inside the bush, you're giving them vision of the bush. However, if you take a
Okay. Mhm.
step outside of the bush and then auto
How do
attack
I
and
go
then
back
walk
in?
back in,
Yeah.
you won't give them
Mm,
vision
mm.
of the bush, so they can't auto you, and they don't know if Elise is
Okay.
in there either. You see how your Elise walked out of the
Oh.
bush and
Mm,
auto attacked and then
mm,
walks into the
mm,
bush? So every
mm,
time,
mm,
just get in
mm,
the habit of doing that. Because you see,
mm,
now the Jinx is forced to ward this bush, and then now you
mm,
can
mm,
clear the
mm,
ward, or you know that she won't have a ward for a gank. So it gives you information, and you're taking something
mm.
for what you're giving, right? Like you're standing in the bush,
Makes sense.
so
Makes
she has
sense.
to
Yeah.
ward, and
Makes
you
sense. Yeah.
and you probably run into the situation a bit as Nyla. You
She
probably
didn't
should.
out of the
It's
water.
fine. This is really bad, by the way. I'm just gonna call it out because it's stupid to tilt over something this
Mm,
small. Like
mm.
like my challenger teammates don't auto the ward sometimes. So why do you have this expectation of the
Oh.
Elise? It's stupid. Just don't even
Okay.
react. It's not worth it.
Makes. Mm, mm, mm.
And this goes back to when I was talking with another player that I'd coached. When you have your vision set on
Mhm,
something in the future, if you have a plan,
mm,
you won't freak
mm.
out when something goes wrong because you can always adapt your plan. But if you're just thinking
Okay.
like
Okay.
about think about it like this. If you're in a fight with somebody, there's like a street fight
Mm,
where both of you just like punch each other and you just there's no strategy
mm,
involved. And then there's a fight
mm,
where like you're trying to exhaust the enemy person that you're fighting, right? Like you're trying to get them
mm, mm,
tired,
mm.
so you're making them move a
Yeah.
lot. Like there's some strategy
Mm,
there. It's the same thing with League.
yeah.
If you think about it, I'm gonna go punch for punch with the enemy AD carry, and I'm gonna
Mm,
beat them because I'm a stronger person. Most times you're gonna end up
mm.
losing, or you're gonna get emotional and put yourself in a bad spot. But when you have a plan
Okay.
on how to win,
Mm,
it makes it so
mhm.
every decision you make builds towards that plan. And you won't tilt over
Okay.
small things like this.
Mm, mm. Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah. Like I was like completely lost in this game. Like, what do I do with this lane? Because every win I have on Layla, it's either a stomp or like a complete loss, right? So my problem is like I can't seem to play from behind for some reason. I don't know why. I get so tilted if I have to play from behind.
Okay? So right here, Elise
I
misses
I
her
think I
cocoon.
trolled this.
No, I think this is fine. I think you pre-leveled your E a little bit too early, right? Like, so Elise misses cocoon here.
Oh. Mhm,
Elise misses cocoon, and I would see how this fight develops, right? Because Milio
mhm,
hasn't shown his ability. He hasn't shown if he has
mhm,
Q or if he has E or W. What he has, he has two of
mhm.
these, right? Uh,
Okay.
so if you like
Mhm.
dash it on him now, he could just Q you away, and it's really really bad, right?
Yeah,
And
that's
then
true.
also the cocoon didn't hit, so you don't know if your Elise is gonna go in right now. So when
Mhm,
this happens and you're walking forward, at this point, right, you can walk forward a little
mhm,
bit and level up your W so that you can give
mhm.
your Elise and use safety so that you at least win the trade. But then when you dash in here,
Oh,
you're over fighting. Your Elise is still on
yeah,
cooldown
that's
for
true.
5 seconds right now. So
Mhm.
this is not your timer to fight. It's not really your
Okay,
it's not
yeah,
really
makes
like a
sense.
really
Makes
big deal because you get them to low HP. But
sense. Mhm.
oh, this was a little
I
aggressive.
trolled.
But
I trolled this so
yeah,
hard.
but
I was like
this
tilted.
is just about fighting with intention, right? So
Mhm,
it's not really we talked about it, right? So is there a point to fight for prio? Your jungler is pathing bot lane. As long as he's not getting invaded, you're good, right?
mhm,
And then if you're gonna
mm.
try to kill the enemy bot lane, what conditions do you need to kill them? You want Elise to hit cocoon. So don't overthink
Yeah.
things. She missed the cocoon. Go for a trade. Don't
Mhm.
overtrade and play disciplined, right? That's what it goes back
Okay.
to.
Mm,
You'll always see players make mistakes in fights like this. And the reason why they
mm,
make the mistakes isn't because they're bad players, like because there's
mhm.
no consistency in these fights.
Okay.
There's too many
Mm.
variables going on, right? Like this person is
Yeah.
doing random stuff, this person's doing random stuff, you're doing random stuff, everybody is. Because
Yeah.
there's not structure to it. But when you
Mm,
practice the same fight, the same trading patterns over and over again, you get good at them.
mhm.
And you can force the
Okay.
enemy to
Mm,
trade that way with you, right? So that you
mhm.
don't have to worry about when things go like randomly out of plan
Yeah.
because
It's so
you'll have the discipline
disorienting.
not
Like
to do
you,
it.
yeah, it's very disorienting. Like I expect something to happen, and then the complete opposite happens, and I just like lose my mind and get tilted for no reason.
Yeah, so just have conditions in your mind and be able
Mhm,
to say no. That's a really big thing
mhm,
when it comes to players. Like
mhm,
when I was learning the game and I was playing Lee Sin a ton, every single time I hit a Q, I had to take the Q because it was just like
mhm.
it was fun. and you'll learn.
Yeah, exactly. It's the dopamine, right? Like
You'll learn, but it takes you so much longer to learn. The example I gave
mm-hmm,
to another person is like, okay, so if you were studying for an exam and you had a textbook
mm-hmm,
for it, would you
mm-hmm,
flip every page in the textbook like randomly and read each page and memorize each page? Or would you try to build it up in your mind? Like read each chapter by each chapter and go
mm-hmm.
chapter by chapter and understand it. Which one is
Yeah,
more
chapter by
efficient?
chapter, of course.
Both
Chapter by
work,
chapter.
but which one is more efficient? And it'll take you
Chapter
a
by
long
chapter.
time to learn the game if you don't have those conditions and you take random fights.
Mm-hmm,
So take
mm-hmm,
fights that you're in control of. And this is something I talk
mm-hmm,
about every single time I coach. The biggest thing when you're trying to get better is being consistent.
mm-hmm.
And being consistent means that
Okay.
you need to be the one controlling how your games go.
Mm,
Even though your teammates do random stuff, you still have a lot of control as AD carry because, like, at the end of the day, you're the one choosing to go
mm,
in or out. Like, you could just let your
mm,
support die, and eventually the enemy team will probably make a mistake that lets you win the game.
mm-hmm. Okay, well, a small question.
Yeah.
So, we get Fryo when we want to help our jungler. Is that is that
No,
the only condition?
no,
Like the
no. Don't
fundamentals?
generalize it like that. Remember,
Mm-hmm,
Prio
mm-hmm,
gives you what? Prio gives you agency, gives you control. There are some
mm-hmm,
points where your control doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you
mm-hmm,
have control because your team can't help you and you can't help your team. So you should
mm-hmm,
only prioritize your priority if it benefits you something, right? Like helping your
okay.
jungle, like invading the enemy jungle, like poking the
Mm-hmm,
enemy, champions or getting an advantage in CS or whatever. Because also
mm-hmm,
remember, if you're pushing every wave in and they're forced to CS under tower, they're going to miss gold. And then also,
okay.
if you crash
Mm-hmm,
a wave into them and then they push back
mm-hmm,
in, right?
mm-hmm,
You can hold the wave and stop them from crashing the wave and they'll miss XP. So when you get the
mm-hmm,
priority, you get three things. You get to deny XP potentially, you get to deny gold,
mm-hmm,
and you get to be first to every play. So that you
mm-hmm,
have you have movement.
okay. Mm-hmm,
So those are the three things you get. Now
mm-hmm,
sometimes you can't get them. Like if you freeze the wave and their jungle is there, are you denying XP? No. They're just gonna push the wave and crash it. Or if they're stronger 2v2,
yeah,
right?
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
If you push them under tower and their champions are good at CSing under tower, or you don't have the range to poke them, so they're just getting all the
Yeah.
CS for free, are you getting a gold advantage? No, you're getting nothing, right?
No.
You're not
Yeah.
getting the tower plates.
That's
So it's all about the
true.
conditions. Are you going to benefit from it
Mm-hmm,
or not? And if you are, then it's worth trying to go for. And if you aren't,
mm-hmm,
then you have to concede it, or you just play for yourself, you play for something else. Instead of playing for
mm-hmm,
prio, you play for trading, or instead of playing for trading, you
mm-hmm,
play to survive or to kill or whatever it might be, right? So this lane, I
mm-hmm,
wouldn't consider playing for prio. I wouldn't consider playing for trading. I would say
mm-hmm.
if Elise hits a cocoon, I'll go trade with
Go
them
away.
and we could
Otherwise.
potentially dive
Mm-hmm,
afterwards. So,
mm-hmm.
what is the best wave state for that? Neutral wave states, right?
Okay.
So,
So
when the
over
Jinx is
here,
forced to
okay,
walk
sorry,
up,
go on. Yeah. Mm-hmm, go on.
so Jinx needs to be forced to walk up to get an Elise cocoon to hit her, right?
Yeah.
So, we keep the wave as neutral as we can.
Mm-hmm,
And if it's not neutral, we push it fast so that it returns to neutral.
mm-hmm,
When you're stronger 2v2, right? This is a
mm-hmm,
rule. When you're stronger 2v2,
mm-hmm,
neutrality is really good.
mm-hmm,
And the reason why it's good is because you get to push them off the lane and you get to deny them XP and gold and force them to make a
mm-hmm,
play somewhere else on the map. Either their jungle
mm-hmm,
needs to come here or their support needs to go roam. Milio can't roam,
mm-hmm,
so it's going to bring their jungler bot lane. And you saw how Master Yi
mm-hmm.
started top. So Master Yi's on his
Yeah.
top camps. So he's not going to be able to
Mm-hmm,
help them until 1 minute.
yeah.
And then
Mm-hmm,
after that minute, there's going to be a delay in which he can help them, and then he can help them in like 3 minutes, right? So during that
yeah.
delay here, between 1 and 3 minutes, is where you're going to punish the enemy laners.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So maybe you say, I can't hold this wave, it's not going to be punishing enough to
mm-hmm.
hold the wave right now. So let's push it. And after Master Yi is done clearing his bot camps, we can hold the wave neutral and then we can punish them.
Okay, but if I hard shove this, right, wouldn't they just grab it and just freeze it there. The second wave is
Well,
also
where's their
okay.
jungler? Their jungle is probably on Gromp right now, or their jungle is going back to their top camps, right? Or maybe
Mm.
on Scuttle. So you don't know where their jungle
Yeah,
is. So if you can't shove a wave, never shove it. But next wave you can 100% shove, can't you?
yeah, for sure. Like if I slow push this and hard shove the second wave, then
Yep.
it'll
You
bounce back.
just last
You
hit,
know.
and then when this wave comes,
Yeah,
you push fast,
yeah. Okay. Mm.
right? And then so
And
you're gonna push this fast. The problem is you didn't push this fast, and now their Master Yi has the option to come here, and they thinned
oh
out the
shit,
wave.
I didn't push it fast enough. Okay.
So you want to push it faster because you see this is not neutral anymore. You want this
Yeah,
wave
it's
under tower as fast as possible so that the wave comes back to the middle and you can look onto Jinx when
yeah.
she has no summoners.
Okay, that's my bad. Yeah, that's true. Okay.
And see, Master Yi is here and they can hold the freeze now.
Mm-hmm.
And now your Xin Zhao is top lane. And even though
Yeah.
the freeze they held is really bad, and this ends up being a
Mm-hmm.
good outcome because they're bad players, that does
Mm-hmm.
not stop it from being something that you can improve on because it
Mm-hmm.
might not matter in this game, but in the next 20
In
games,
in
it will
different
definitely
game,
matter.
yeah, probably. Yeah, it'll definitely will. Yeah, makes sense. But at least hasn't hit one cocoon the whole game. Like,
I mean, don't blame your teammate. I
yeah,
just gave you one thing that you can improve on, right? Has
yeah,
so if you
makes
made
sense.
conditions for Elise to hit Cocoon, maybe she would hit it. But maybe she just had bad opportunities to hit it. Maybe she's autofilled. Maybe she's
Probably
just
that. Yeah,
bad.
probably that.
Like who
Yeah.
knows, right? It could be a lot of stuff.
Mm,
But there's no point to blame a teammate if you could have done something
mm.
better. Because like I said,
Yeah, that's
you
true.
might have never won this game, but if you
Mm-hmm.
focus on getting better, you will
Mm-hmm.
100% win your future games. There
Mm-hmm.
might be a game that it matters in.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see how they retook Prio. Now they're going to control when you get the reset timer, right? And the way
Mm-hmm.
that you get out of this is you get a jungle bailout, right? You need a bailout from your
Mm-hmm.
jungle, or you need to lose some minions. So
Mm-hmm.
your Elise resets, and it was a good idea for her to reset. That's fine. And you're just going to catch this wave here and CS. Now what your jungle does here is kind of grief,
I think I picked him too much to come, and then he just kind.
but this is
I think I
okay.
still died. Is it?
Maybe.
Okay, I think at least hits her, and
Yep.
then
So
he's
that's
on
good.
that.
That's fine. But we can understand that
Okay.
this goes
Okay.
back to
At this point,
playing with
go
intention.
on.
It goes back
Mm,
to playing with intention, right? So we need a
mm,
bailout for jungle, right? So when are we going to be
mhm.
strong? Well, let's just wait for Elise to get here because Jinx isn't
Yeah.
forced to go in yet, and you're close to level 6. So just wait a
Yeah.
second,
I'm pushing.
right? And also, did you ever see the enemy laners shift up to go into river to ward? Did Millie or Jinx ever walk into river to ward
I think Milio left.
during this whole
Did
time?
he not?
I don't think they did.
Oh,
I think he went and placed a ward in river bush, not in tribe brush.
in the river bush. Okay, okay, in the river
So
bush.
you
Okay.
guys don't
Okay.
have to force the play yet. You can wait because this guy isn't seen yet.
Mm. Yeah, I should have waited for 6. Absolutely correct. Fuck.
It's fine. Don't be mad about it. It's just like this is it goes back to you're not going to get good at this stuff unless you do make decisions on purpose and you start
Like,
seeing what works and what doesn't work.
yeah, like
Again,
consciously.
when you add the structure
Mm,
to the game, it's going to make it a whole lot easier to make decisions, whether they be good or bad decisions.
mhm.
Right here, looks like Diana's here.
I had to back off there. I had to leave it.
Of
He was
course.
also.
Okay. Come back to the lane. And again, like getting the team fight or getting the impact that you want in this game is going to be hard because the wave
Mm-hmm.
states that we got have never been
Mm-hmm.
hard winning for us.
Mm. Okay, so good wave states. We could have definitely done something with the
Yeah, so
cocoon.
think about it in chess, right? Uh
Mm,
there's such a thing as like a poison piece where if you take
mm-hmm.
it, you're going to have to pay for like in some way afterwards. And sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
worth it, sometimes it's not worth it to take. But there's also the idea of having a clean exchange. And if you have a clean exchange,
Mm-hmm.
it means that you are just up material and you did not lose anything in terms of like strategic positioning or any board value in exchange. It's just very
Mhm.
clean. You just got an advantage, right? A clear advantage.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
want to create clean exchanges in your games.
Mhm.
And when you're losing or when you're down, you want to make the game as hard for the enemy team to have clean exchanges as possible.
Mhm.
Think about it in those terms. As many poison pawns as you could put out there. Because there's more chance of the enemy team making a mistake, and it puts the game into an accelerated state in the sense of like
Mhm.
they have to have very good execution or else you guys get bought a lot of time. So again, when you're
Mhm.
winning, look for clean plays. When you're starting off at the game, but let's say you're like 5k gold down, the game doesn't look good, that's when you can start going
Mhm.
for like cross map plays or like doing something cheesy, like just weird
Mm.
stuff. But you shouldn't feel
Random
pressured
stuff
to
like
do
they
that.
don't expect.
You should
Yeah,
have the
makes sense.
structure at first, and then it goes away at the harder and harder the game is to win with clean exchanges. Because
Mhm.
even in chess, at a certain point, if you just do clean exchanges when you're down enough material, you're just going to lose no matter what.
Mhm.
So that's a great example right there. Uh, and like in a game like this, where the
Mhm.
structure would have benefited you a lot, their
Mhm.
execution was better than your execution, or it doesn't
Mhm.
matter because the champions that they picked, or maybe your ping was too high or whatever it might be. So they're going to get an
Mhm.
advantage because of it. And some games you're going to have
Okay.
the advantage, and some games they're going to have the advantage, which is exactly what you
Okay.
explained to me, where you win hard some games and you lose hard other games.
Yeah. It's like a complete loss or a complete stop. Like there's no in between. It is like.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, when you add that stability to your game, it's going to
Mhm.
make it so even if you're losing lane or it's a hard lane, you're not going to
Mhm.
need to kill the enemy team 5 times to win the lane. Because
Mm.
even though you're
Makes
up in
sense.
CS right now and
Mhm.
you're 0 deaths, you could be
Mhm.
in a lot better position in a game like this.
Okay.
And spam pinging doesn't work. Like, think about it like this, right?
Mhm.
Imagine you're playing like a sport that you're learning with your friends. What's a sport that you're not too good at?
Probably trash or something. Yeah.
No, a sport like in real life, basketball
A
or
sport? Okay, okay. Probably basketball. Yeah.
okay. So imagine you were learning basketball, and when you
Mhm.
stepped on the court to play with your friends, you had a friend who was like really, really good at basketball, or maybe you had a friend that
Mhm.
was more familiar with it than you, and they told you
Mm.
exactly how to play. Would
Mhm.
that be helpful to you playing well, or would it be more disruptive?
It would be good, of course.
No, they told you
If you're learning
exactly
how,
how to play.
it would,
Like I'm saying down to
isn't that
how,
good?
well, it depends. For some people, it's good. For some people, they can't work with that. For some people, they're very good at taking instructions. And for other people, if you tell them exactly what to do, they get frustrated, don't they?
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
So when you're
Wait, okay, okay. So you're okay from that perspective. Yeah,
from the
that's true.
perspective of like, you can tell people what you want, you can be very vocal about what you want. And I encourage you to be vocal about what you want. But you need to
Mm.
understand that there's a line between telling people what you want
Mm.
and telling them exactly how to
Telling them
play the
what to
game.
do. Yeah, yeah,
And
that's
it's
true.
not ever helpful, never helpful to
Mm.
tell people exactly how to play the game. Because
Mm.
if you want that, then go play on a team and have a support player that will listen to your every command. You know what I mean? And I can tell you from
Mm.
experience, I could take a diamond player or a person that can like
Mm.
mechanically play, and it won't matter if I tell them exactly what to do because there's just too much to say. There's too much to say,
Mm.
and they'll mess something up. You won't get better.
Makes
So
sense.
when you're playing with
Makes
teammates, you can tell them what you want, but do not tell them how to play the game.
okay.
It's bad.
Makes
It's
sense.
very, very bad. So avoid it. When you
Mm.
ping, just ping
Right.
once and be clear about it. And I guarantee you people will
Mm.
listen more if you ping once than if you ping multiple times.
Mhm.
And then also like trades like this, I don't really like. Think about the game in turns, right? Like we have a lot to go over here, but a lot of this just
Mhm.
goes back to bad habits. The game is in turns. So when you're
Mhm.
strong, you fight. When you have numbers, you fight. When you don't have
Mm.
numbers, try to stay like try to reserve your abilities so that you can
Mhm.
save them for when you're strong again. So when you're like
Yeah, like
trading there,
I don't know why I altered there. Yeah,
well, because you're probably tilted, but that's where it goes back to
yeah.
like have a bigger picture in your mind. Be like,
Mhm.
okay, right now we're not doing well. Don't get tilted because you're not doing well right now. Try to come up with a way that you're
Mhm.
gonna win. Think about like, okay,
Mm.
Elise can maybe group with me, Xin Zhao can maybe group with me, and we can look for a kill on the
Okay.
Milio or whoever it might be, right? But
Okay.
never just autopilot to start, like, never autopilot and just start using your abilities because it never ends well. You're just gonna end up being like a little bit silly looking. And even
I don't
this
know
is
why I
fine.
went there.
I mean, this is fine
Mm-hmm.
because you see Milio's here. So now,
Mm-hmm.
because you go in like this, the Milio can't be in the mid play. It would be
Mm-hmm.
good if you looked mid and saw if it was important to do that to begin with, right? Because if it wasn't important
Mm-hmm.
to do, then you wouldn't do it. But you're
Oh
still,
wait, do people actually do that? Like if
yes,
you're
yes, I
trying
do
to
that
run. Uh, oh,
because
okay.
it
Wow,
spreads their
that's good.
pressure, right? You remember when I talked about tainted pawns? It's like you're pressuring them to respond
Mm-hmm.
bot lane, but they want to go mid.
Okay. Okay. So
But you don't
you
know if that's
so they have.
true. It's probably not true right
Mm,
now. Probably doesn't matter at all. So
mm,
going in there is just kind of for fun.
mm. Wow, that's some that would be some high level decision making.
Well, it's high
Looking
level.
mid.
Like when you understand the game fundamentally and you start adding the
Mm-hmm.
stability and structure I talked about, you can start to do
Mm-hmm.
some stuff that will be like very surprising.
Mm.
I can
Yeah,
train.
like that's the level that I want to get at.
Well, if you think about it, you're on 130 ping. So when you're playing on this ping, sometimes it's going to be hard to beat people based off
Mm-hmm.
reaction time or stuff like that. Although I never think that
Yeah.
you should be like, I'm going to beat this guy because I'm mechanically better. Sometimes it'll be hard.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't play the game as well
Mm-hmm.
as other people, unfortunately. So if you have a
Mm-hmm.
good game plan, it could mean that much more.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
And then yeah, so now after you traded all your HP into the enemy, your Elise traded all her HP into the enemy, and you guys are just taking turns.
Yeah.
So that you
Okay.
can never fight together. And I don't know what the
Mm.
Master Yi or the Jinx is doing, but it's amazing, is it
I
not?
mean, we get a free kill on the mastery here. I think I don't know why they do us like that.
Let's rewatch this dive. So right here, I understand what you were doing there. You walked into her, and then
I tried to W her, but the
yeah,
Jinx
yeah, but the
rocket got
Jinx
me.
rocket came in. Uh, I think using your E here, it's like not needed, right? Like you're chilling right now, so you can just hold your E, and then afterwards,
Mm.
like the first ability you should cast after you flash should be your E as well, if you're gonna flash.
Yeah, I buffered it. I'm sure I buffered it, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean
That
you're on
was
high
very
ping and
bad.
it's kind of like your camera is
Mm.
halfway in the wall. So
Oh shit! Like, oh no.
I mean I
Okay,
pointed
okay.
out and you say it's bad, but like camera control is really important as well. You can just tap
Mm.
spacebar to recenter if you have spacebar sent to center jump, or you can tap
Yeah.
Y. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's hard. Camera control is one of the hardest things, at least for me. For other people, it's easy, but it's hard for me because I never locked my camera before. So recentering camera is kind of hard.
Mm.
And maybe kind of Kaisa cheats the game for me because when you ulti in, it recenters your camera. So, and then like stop
Mm.
pinging, bro. Even if she doesn't see it, what are you pinging for?
Oh, with Kaisa, yeah, but it's also very disorienting on Kaisa. Like, I feel like.
It used to be that way for me at the start, but I got used to it. It took a
Mm.
lot, but
Mm.
yeah. And don't ping, please. Like we're not gonna see this
Yeah,
hopefully anymore.
yeah. I hope not. I should stop doing that.
Yeah, you should.
Like all it took was her to not deward that at the level one when the enemy started the push. She did like auto it,
Yeah,
and then
but
I got stuck.
don't cope, right? Like it's a decision every time you ping him
Yeah,
that you're tilted about it. Because at any
yeah,
point you could just stop being tilted, but you kept on being
yeah,
tilted about it. So,
yeah.
and you say this is a free loss. I mean, this is why I think
Hmm.
the most important thing to approach whenever you're coaching somebody for most clients, like 90% of clients, is you talk about
Hmm.
mental and you talk about game plan. Because if you're
Hmm.
able to convince people that they can win a game, they'll play it. But
Hmm.
people don't want to play until that point.
Hmm.
Because from this point, it looks terrible. Looks like this game was never winnable. But when you go in and you point out the mistakes, I hope you can see that
Mm.
you have a lot more control than it looks like in a game like this.
Yeah, like there's so much I could have done.
Of
I don't
course.
know why.
Dude, and don't be mad about it. It's like another analogy I always give people is good job here, by the way. I think you can hold your W a little bit longer, but it's fine.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
unless Jinx has a lot of crit chance, she's probably not gonna crit you, and the damage isn't enough to kill you with the auto. I mean, she is Yuntal.
mm,
I don't think she'll crit you.
mm,
Wait, she's 21%. Maybe she will. Never mind. She got that stacked really fast.
mm.
All right, if I was like a real min-maxer, I would say wait to see if the Jinx auto is a crit animation and then
Yeah,
press your W,
that's
but
like very,
you're
that's like extreme min maxing, but that would be actually cool.
no,
Yeah.
that would not be cool. That would be grief. That'd be grief as hell. But especially on
Okay.
130 ping, that would be like trying to die.
Yeah.
Speedrunning, losing the
Probably. That's
game.
the thing. Yeah.
But what was I talking about before? Oh, yeah. Think about it like going to the gym. Gym is the best
Mm,
analogy as well for this. If you go
mm-hmm,
to the gym and if you try to lift up a weight that's too heavy for you to lift, will you get any
mm-hmm.
stronger?
No.
You'll just hurt yourself, right? So
Yeah.
when you have the expectations on yourself, don't expect yourself to be able to go into the gym and just lift up the weight that
Mm-hmm,
is too heavy. You have to build up to
mm,
it and you have to give yourself a shot to get to that weight before you get to lift it.
mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm,
I'll just give you one example from like one of the cool things that you could do in one of my
mm-hmm.
videos that I made. They're able to get to their break points, then it's
Oh,
going
you
to
have
be a
it to
really
show.
rough game for us. Yeah. We want to win in the. I was gonna post it there. I think I asked you for permission before, but early game.
Yeah, you can. You can.
Yeah. Fridays. So and here's me talking, but like here's something I noticed, right? So after
Mm-hmm,
this dragon, I come down here. I'm playing Ezreal, right?
mm-hmm,
And I'm recalling. I'm channeling my recall, right?
mm-hmm.
And then I see this ward die right here. You saw the ward.
Which?
uh,
Oh, yeah.
You saw
Yeah.
that ward just die. So that
Yeah.
means that they had vision of me, but then they just dropped vision of me. So their vision just died. You saw the ward, right? Right there.
Does it show? Like, even if you
Y-
don't know if there's a if
yes, yes,
oh,
it
it
shows.
shows.
It shows every time,
Oh.
right? And this goes back to me paying attention. So I know what is
Uh.
going on in the game. I know how the game works, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have no vision there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I go ahead and show it again. You see how the ward dies. I saw the ward. So the last information they have about me is I'm recalling. And my Poppy is
Mm,
checking this bush right now, right? And I think
mm,
hypothetically we can make a play on Seraphine. But then Skarner comes out of the bush, right?
mm-hmm,
And since Skarner comes out of the bush now,
mm-hmm.
they still don't know I'm there. I get to jump on the Seraphine and kill her.
That's some great cheese right there. Wow. Okay, that was cool.
So this is the kind of stuff that you can do when you get to a higher level. It's
Mm-hmm,
amazing how like if you're paying attention what you can do. Because I don't think of myself
mm,
as like a crazy good player. I mean, I
mm-hmm.
hit challenger on 2 or 3 rolls. I'm not trying to be humble. But all I did was
Oh,
start
and
paying
you're
attention to what was
1,000 euro
going on.
LP. Yeah, makes sense.
That's all it takes. Pay attention to the
Mm,
variables going on in the game, how stuff
mm-hmm,
goes, build up those patterns in your head, and then always be receptive to that information, right? Just
mm-hmm,
try stuff.
mm-hmm,
Don't be afraid of making mistakes. And again,
mm-hmm,
every single person I coach, I tell this to them. I say,
mm-hmm,
being a good player is not that you are smarter than people, that you're more talented than people. It's the fact
mm-hmm,
what makes you better or what should make you better isn't the person you are right now, but the fact that you can
mm-hmm.
improve upon it.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Because there
Is
are
this the
people
old
who
map, by the way?
this is
This is
old
like the
old. Yeah,
old.
this is way old. But
I missed.
there are people that are naturally good at League, right?
Mm-hmm,
But most times that's because they did the work without realizing it. Like they played a different
mm,
game or they already had the pathways in their head to be good at the game because they did
mm-hmm.
something previously. Nobody like
Yeah, new
spawns
ones. There's
in.
always new ones like that. Yeah,
There's
that's true.
nobody that spawns in and they're the best player in the world. And the best way that I
Mm,
can say is like look at the difference between Chovy and Faker and you'll understand like why one of them wins a bunch of world championships and why one of them doesn't. No flame
mm.
to Chovy. I think he's a great player. But Faker has played the game for how long and has always,
Mm,
always, always adapted, no matter what.
mm,
He has a great
mm,
mental, he works hard, and even though
mm,
he lets himself tilt sometimes, he understands
mhm,
what it takes to be good and he pursues it.
makes sense. Yeah.
But with Chovy,
There's so much I could have done this game. Yeah, go on.
it's like there's a little bit of self-preservation going on. Like he wants to win it his way. But for Faker, he'll win it
Mm,
anyway.
mm.
That's what makes Faker great. I love Faker. Faker's the best. But
This is
regardless,
again a problem of. It's the same problem of mine as well. Like I want to carry games by myself. I want to get fed. I want to be like 20 kills and just carry. I cannot play from behind for somewhere. Like I don't know where
And
this ego is coming
it's
from.
not ego. It's not ego. It's because that's the only way you feel comfortable winning. So you resort to
Yeah,
that.
exactly. It feels comfortable. Yeah,
It
exactly.
feels comfortable, so you go to that. But you don't have to go to that because you can win even when you're uncomfortable sometimes.
Mm,
Like there was a game I played today or yesterday rather,
mhm,
and I went
mhm,
like the enemy AD carry ended up getting 3 kills early on,
mhm.
and I was really tilted. But I had
Oh,
APA telling me to calm down, right? Because this person is a pro player right here, or was a pro player,
okay.
right?
Mm, mm, mm,
So I'm sitting here, and we don't need to watch what I did because maybe what I did was bad. But like we see here, right?
mhm.
The Kaisa ends up getting
Oh shit.
a lot off this. She gets 2 kills,
Mm,
and look at my wave, how bad my wave is.
mm. Oh,
And look at
interesting.
me, I'm a
Okay.
sinner. I'm pinging my Jarvan because my Jarvan did some stupid shit this game, right?
Oh,
But you know
okay.
what? I just gave
Mm-hmm.
it an honest shot. I'm like, you know what? I could tilt and I could just make sure we lose this game, but I'm just gonna play it out. Because even though this feels
Mm,
terrible, I'm just gonna see if I
mm,
can win, even though it's so uncomfortable for me to play.
mm, mm,
Which
mm.
is exactly what you're saying, right? Like, make the best of it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly, exactly.
Because we can both acknowledge that if you try hard every game and if you keep a clear mental,
Mm,
you will get better, no matter what,
mm.
even if bad things happen.
Oh, the wave was so
Yeah, I lost my shit this game, but guess who ended up
uh,
going 15 kills? I mean, it was me.
amazing, amazing. I would tilt my ass off
I did, I
if
did.
that happened.
It's not about not tilting. You'll always tilt when something like that happens, but you need to have the
Mm.
accountability and the discipline to realize that that's not going to be what wins you the game. And if you
Yeah,
truly
yeah,
care about
that
winning,
makes
then you
sense.
won't tilt
Mm,
like you won't let yourself get so angry. I mean, you'll get tilted, but you won't let yourself get angry.
mm, mm,
Another thing is like if something is not in your control, do not get upset about it.
mm, mm.
If it's not in your
Yeah,
control,
I don't know.
don't have the
I
expectation
don't
that
know.
you can change it.
Makes sense. Makes sense. It feels so comfortable like, to just duo queue with the Yumi and just like stomp games. But
Oh, I
if
grew
it's
so
like
hard,
so
dude.
random, oh shit.
I got tilted. Like it's so funny how I got tilted because I pinged my
Mm,
Jarvan to get off this red buff and come group with us, and he didn't, so I just ran in and died because I'm a fucking tilter.
mm.
And then the funniest
Wait,
thing I
shouldn't
did
he be
after,
there?
what?
Shouldn't he come there anyway? Like, why is he not?
I think he should be here, but he wanted to go do red buff instead. I don't know why, but it's whatever.
Mm,
Like that doesn't mean that I should
mm,
go in and die the way I did because I'm a piggy.
mm,
But I was tilted. And the funny thing is, like
mm,
in this moment, I was really angry and frustrated,
mhm,
and that's why I
mhm.
died. And then afterwards, as soon as I died, I put up a FF vote. And then afterwards, I'm like,
Oh,
wait, who put up the FF vote? Who is trying to lose? I pretended like it wasn't me. I was like, who did that?
okay.
Oh man, I'm
Okay.
such an evil person sometimes.
That's okay. So at least everybody tells, not just you.
Everybody tilts. Don't have the
Okay.
expectation that not everybody tilts because everybody tilts.
Okay.
I never
Because
even.
usually challenger players seem like more disciplined.
No, no, no. They're the worst, bro. They're the
Uh,
worst. But the really good players, they really barely tilt ever.
mm,
Boom. I played this fight badly, but I wanted the penta, so I was trying to clip farm, but I couldn't get the penta because APA stole my kills. All right. Well, if you need any help or any questions past that, let me know. I think we went over some pretty important
sure.
stuff though.
Yeah, yeah. This is like good value out of this session. Very good value.
So,
Amazing.
is there anything you have questions about?
Uh, let's see. Probably not, because the trading patterns for like the conventional ADCs probably don't work on me because I usually sit
Well,
back on Nyla,
it
right?
doesn't even matter that much because like trading patterns are done to accomplish what? A
To
game
get an
plan.
advantage, like it's a gameplay. Okay, as in
Everything
the
that you
goal is
do
to.
should
Mhm,
build towards
mhm,
something.
mm.
Not because like that's the way to play the game, but that's the way to learn the
Mhm,
game. I mean, it is the way to
mhm,
play the game, but sometimes you won't have anything to do. But if you always try to
mhm,
come up with something, you'll always have a starting point for getting better.
mhm,
So that's why you always have the intention behind things that you do, even if it doesn't
Makes
seem
sense.
clear.
Mm.
Wow, it's Warwick.
I can't even damage this guy for some reason. He only. I think this boots, plated steel caps, has to be one of the most OP items in the game.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, it,
listen, I don't know how long you've been playing. I watched an
mhm,
old video of AD carry players. He had Static Shiv
mhm,
IE, who were his only two items, and his autos dealt
mhm.
560 damage.
Wait,
Nowadays,
is
if
that mhm.
nowadays if I
That's
have
a lot, no?
yeah, that's a
Yeah.
lot. If I have Static Shiv IE, my autos do 360 damage. Like what the hell, man?
Like I don't understand like how they built that item. Armor, 30 armor, that already gives you physical damage resistance by like a big person.
They need to
And
nerf
they
it.
reduce,
They need to nerf it.
yeah, and they give extra physical damage resistance on auto attacks. Like why?
Okay, we,
I don't
we
know.
could talk about it, but I think we went over the nice
I
coaching
think we're done.
session.
We're done. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, so I'm gonna
It's
stop the
pretty
recording,
cool. Yeah.
but thank you for letting me
Yeah.
coach you, and